Good morning, everyone, on this lovely, fine Saturday morning. Still a bit hot here in Gawler, but it's not as hot as it was yesterday. Um, well, it's 1 week out, 1 week till the final polling day, this time next Saturday. You have to get your votes in. No exceptions. They've had all of the early voting that's been going on throughout this week. Maitland still has early voting open at the Maitland Information Centre. So even for this week, you can get in there and get your votes in. And a little bit of promotion about what I've been up to. Last night I went to Radio Adelaide, was kindly interviewed on Yarning Country with Chris C, who I've known for a long time, and he just really wanted to hear from someone that can give a bit of light on what my understanding is of the SA Voice to Parliament. Like many others, he said that he was quite unsure about what it represents and what it means, and we unpacked that a little bit, and that was in between some songs. I got to choose a few songs that had meaning to me. So yeah, it was a fun night, and I've put the link on my Facebook page if you feel like listening to it as you're driving along or something, or it's an hour show it was 9 o'clock last night till 10. So yeah, but today being a new day, I thought I'm going to peel it back a bit and get a little bit up close and personal and tell you a little bit about who I am and my story, and which impacts on how I am today and what got me to where I am, and why I think that I'd be a good candidate for the Voice to Parliament. So I've mentioned before, I'm a Gamilaroi woman, born Anne Murrawarri on my grandfather's side, born in Wee Waa, New South Wales, and I'm 52 years old, and I'm one of 12 children, and I'm the 9th born. And between all of us, we were all removed from our mother's care. My mum, rest in peace, was Joni West, and she passed away when I was 10 years old. And it was not by natural causes. She was actually murdered, and yeah, there was no justice served to that person that did that crime. Because it was back in 1982, an Aboriginal woman being murdered was not seen as a great loss. So things like that are what I'm really passionate about, is justice for crimes that are definitely worthy of being charged, but yet because of race coming into it, the man wasn't an Aboriginal person. He walked freely away from that. So yeah, that's one of the things that I'm passionate about. Obviously, stolen generation, I still live it. My brothers and sisters live it, and as a result of the intergenerational trauma, my children and my nieces and nephews also are influenced and affected and have been impacted by the loss of my connection to my family and country, language and culture. So I spent most of my time as a child growing up in country, rural New South Wales. I actually was fostered out. So I was under the guardianship of the minister as a baby, and I went to one home, and apparently that placement broke down and I was put back into the system, stayed in an institution for some time as a baby, and then I think around 8 months I was placed with the Makepeace family, which is why my name is Joy Makepeace, because they officially adopted me after my mum passed away when I was 10, because up until that point, that was through the Department of Child Services, my mum kept denying, saying, no, not going to sign any papers for any of my babies. You're not taking my babies from me. So it was after she passed that a number of us were adopted into the foster families that we had been placed with. And we were all separated. Below me, like I said, I'm the 9th born, are triplets, and those triplets consist of 2 boys and a girl. And the boys went to one family and the girl went to another family. Those families lived in rural New South Wales, and they did know of each other and they stayed in touch with each other and brought the triplets together, from what I know, as children for their birthdays. But for me, I was very isolated and there was none of this access visits. So I actually never got to meet any of my siblings until Mum passed. So I remember being 10 years old and for the first time meeting the triplets, but not really being understanding the magnitude, like the significance of that. And there, after that, we moved once again. I think I moved to Queensland, so I lost touch with brothers and sisters. And it wasn't until I got to Adelaide when my at the time adoptive parents separated, and Mum asked me to move. Did I want to move with her? So I chose to come from, at the time it was Queensland, all the way down to Adelaide. I was 15 and in year 10, and we ended up at Elizabeth, and I got enrolled in Elizabeth High School. Now, Garner Plains, the first Aboriginal school in South Australia, I believe, was very early. It had only just recently been open, but you've got to remember, I had grown up with a white family and I hadn't even really been connected to community. I was very disconnected, and so going to Elizabeth High School was the first time that I really got to start to learn about who I was and my culture and connect with friends and community and start to really embrace my Aboriginal identity. I went on as a teenager there to meet my future husband. So I was only 15, and he was a white man from had emigrated from England with his parents in year 10 as well. And we got together, and I think 12 years later, or 8 years later, we were married. So I spent much of my younger years in a relationship that was also very isolating, with connecting to my community and culture. However, during that time, I went to university, and my undergraduate degree that I decided to do was a Bachelor of Applied Science in Conservation and Park Management. Like I've told you before, I love the environment, I'm passionate about it, and so when my career counsellor at school suggested it, and because back in the day the College of Advanced Education, which changed to UniSA, was just based in Salisbury, so it all just seemed to fall together and seemed very convenient for me to attend that university. Once I got to university, there were 2 other Aboriginal students. One came from, well, they both came from Queensland, and it was such a weird small world that one of the guys actually had been living with my non-Aboriginal adopted father in Queensland. So that was just a very small coincidental world. And I still know both of those students, and have connected really well with them over the years. So I graduated from there, and to help me, pay my way while I was going through uni, I did some studies at part-time work at Elizabeth TAFE, and I was doing a new, I think it was introductory vocational education, supporting students that were just learning that or studying a certificate in that at TAFE. And because of my involvement with that, the person there encouraged me to do a Bachelor of Education. So I went on to do a graduate diploma in education secondary teaching at UniSA, and that was, I think, a year and a half. And then I was still quite young. I was only about 21 when I finished studying 2 degrees. And I realised that I wasn't that much older than the students who I was going to be teaching, and I didn't want to go and be a park ranger. Because the base ranger rate was shocking, and what I was finding is that when I was being offered other work, it was at a much higher rate. So that was what I decided to do, is follow up with a graduate diploma of education. Found myself in the workplace doing Aboriginal education, worked at TAFE, and then from TAFE I went to Aboriginal Employment Development Branch with Les Nader, and they were the good old days when I was able to do a lot of work with youth and write. I learnt the basics around governance, and my main mentor was Dr. Roger Thomas, and he really tucked me under his wing, and I remember I was able to travel and sit in meetings, whether it be up in the APY lands, in the Creek Riverbed, taking the minutes for them, or going to Oodnadatta to be involved in the community development community development plans, or to Uluru to be taking minutes, or Canberra, even going over to Parliament to be sitting alongside of the Aboriginal education team. And it was just such an eye-opener for me, and seeing so many powerful Aboriginal advocates, representatives, strong leaders, and I just felt absolutely honoured and privileged to have been given that head start and opportunity. So from there I got married, had a baby, and that's when my world got rocked, because I actually was unaware that I had been carrying a lot of complex trauma. And so when I had my son, who is now 28 years old, I had what's called a postpartum psychotic episode, and I became very, very unwell, hearing voices and not able to care for my baby, which is why now, 28 years later, I'm absolutely passionate about infant mental health, perinatal period, which is from when you're pregnant to 2 years of the baby's life, and understand that getting it right in those early years is so important to the future development of your child's emotional well-being, and what they call your attachment, and which then leads to better health outcomes. If you've had a really poor attachment, so a really rough start in life, your ability to be resilient or to bounce back from things that are challenging really is compromised. So that really shaped my future. It was another 8 years before I would go on and have another baby, and so then I've got my second son, and like I've said before, his dad is Narungga, and then my daughter is also Narungga on her father's side, and so there was a bit of a gap between my children. And during that time, I had started working when my firstborn was young, I got a job at Ngunnawal in the SA Link Up program, which was all about stolen generation and helping to reunify Aboriginal families that had been separated. It was absolutely so close to my heart, maybe too close to my heart. I was still young and still doing my own healing journey, and often it would be quite triggering. And back in the day, there wasn't any supervision to make sure that your own mental health was being protected while you worked in these situations with other families who had, or people who had, similar stories. So after working at Ngunnawal, then I did a long haul. I did a big change, and I moved over to tertiary education. So I got a job at UniSA, which is the same place where I had done all of my studies, and that was at the McGill campus, and then later down the track it ended up being at Mawson Lakes campus. Mawson Lakes is more aligned to my undergraduate degree, so that's where they were offering the resource management, and so environment, engineering, sciences, and that. So that's my areas of strength. Maths is not my area of strength, but English, and I love research and writing, academic papers, reading, anything to do with literacy. Yeah, that's a big tick for me. So then after UniSA, I ventured back into health because while I was studying at UniSA, I went on to do my master's in social science counselling, and I was really enjoying the journey of when you're studying to those sort of subjects. You really have to look on the inside and have a look at some of the deep, dark things within you that make up who you are, and challenge you, and can sometimes trip you up. So it was very therapeutic studying that degree, and in the end it has provided me with the tools that I've gone on to utilise in my own business. So I've worked at so many health places like Shine SA, so sexual health, and United Communities, which is back with families, KWY, which is to do with domestic and family violence, and all of these have really given me the on the ground, grassroots level experience when working with families and hearing what the social issues are and seeing what the difficulties are and having to case manage clients to help address those things that are stopping them from having an equal opportunity to achieve well in life. So, yes, more recently I've started, like I said, working in my own business over the past 2 years, and I provide reflective practice supervision to some of those workplaces where I was working years before. So now at Ngunnawal Aboriginal Health Service, and also Flinders Medical Service down south. And so I provide supervision for the psychologists, the social work team, Aboriginal health practitioners, child and maternal health nurses, midwives, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do every month. And more recently, just found a part-time national position with Forwen, which is a online phone call centre where parents with children under 12 months, either expecting parents or parents that have babies under one, if they're experiencing their own mental health concerns, can ring this national helpline and they'll get in touch with a specialist mental health expert who will help link them into the community and find services to help them navigate their way out of those concerning waters. So that's where I'm at now. I also am an artist. I love to paint. I've been commissioned to do a few pieces. I always question myself when I'm doing commission pieces, because it's like you're wondering, am I really capturing what the client wanted, and does it, what I'm capturing, is it expressing what they had in mind? So I love the outdoor environment, education, and when you have a passion for education, then I know that education really is the key to getting out of poverty, or say leading to higher likelihood of being able to get a job, so employability. And those, the studying is what I believe really gives those soft skills, or those team building or team working skills. So that's why I really encourage people to school is just your kindergarten of the education world, and it doesn't have to be university. My two boys, they're very hands-on, out tradespeople, whereas my daughter, she has more of a mind that she wants to go down that health lane and do more of that. So education can come in many forms, but it actually, I do believe it leads to many other opportunities, and we just need to level the playing field. Scholarships for people that are first time either uni or TAFE study, making it easier, not harder, for people to get into those type of things. It's very overwhelming. It's scary. It's confronting. You're the minority in a big sea of people, and all of those sort of things aren't really taken into consideration when students are going. And because I've had those 12 years as an academic advisor at UniSA, I really have seen and been able to hold people's hands to help them. And then, after 3 or 4 years of studying, watching them walk across a stage and graduate, there's nothing more prouder moment than that. So, Yeah, I think that's pretty much about me, who I am. If you've got any questions or you want to know what else I know about, yeah, I'll try my hand at anything. I don't like to give up. I always say to people, I'm not smart, but I am persistent, and I know how to find answers if I don't know them myself. So this Voice to Parliament is something that I'm also passionate about. I think I can make a difference, but I'd rather make a difference together with you and be your representative for the SA Voice to Parliament, especially for Region 6, which is the electorate that I'm in, which is York and Mid-North. 1 week to go. Get your votes in. Keep smiling. Have a great day. Don't work too hard.